Fallout Equestria, Project Horizons, Speak. Written by Harchai. Chapter 6. Soft Light. Escalion, would you like to, or shall I?
Softness is not weakness. It takes courage to stay delicate in a world that is cruel. That is this cruel. Fucking. Shit. ОСТОРОЖНО. Blackjack is enjoying himself in the background.
Yes, he is.
Alright,
Very well.
shall we commence?
I don't think so. Okay, so Blackjack, can you please cut the noises?
Yes, Blackjack, cut the sex noises. We're not interested in your faggotry.
Да пусть лучше будут. Знаешь, лучше пусть они будут в записи, чем во время чтения, поэтому давай. Okay. Are we all ready?
Ready as I'll ever be, baby.
Okay, let's go. I woke up a few hours later, curled up beneath Peter's wings. I could hear the rain plinking down the metal roof of the old ice cream shop we'd stayed in the night before. I was tired, dirty, and maybe a little short on food, but I'd never felt more alive or motivated in my life. I was terrified of going back to Judson City, but I also knew that I had my friends to watch my back. Logic would make sure nothing happened to me, and Glitter Bomb was a nice beacon of happiness in the constant melancholy that was endemic to Equestrian wasteland. I wiggled out from under Glitter's soft purple wing, careful not to wake her, and nodded over to where Blackjack was keeping watch. She smiled at me as I sat down on my haunches next to her. We said nothing for a moment, just admiring the passing shower as the raindrops staccated the roof. We were safe in the knowledge that this far from the hoof, the rain wouldn't last long. Not with a Lightbringer in control of a single Pegasus project towers.
This was my first real taste of the wasteland.
Blackjack said as she stared down the road to the southwest toward the faint glow of civilization in the boom. I could barely make out a large billboard that read, "Welcome to Hoofington." Some wit had added something about abandoning hope in bright red paint across the bottom. Or at least I hoped it was paint.
Watcher guided P-21 and I here. We ran across some raiders who'd caught some kids. I guess he wanted to see what we do.
I looked up at her, skewing an ear to the side. "You saved the kids, right?" I winced slightly as I realized I made it sound like she was telling me a story from a book. The heroine always saves the day, right? Even if I knew that wasn't always the case.
Sure, security saves ponies, especially from those maniacs who think bondage there is boarding.
She murmured as acidic self-based recrimination oozed from her heart.
The next day, I got one of them torn in half because my stupid.
She glanced at me.
It really hurts being ripped in two like that.
I shuddered at the thought. I didn't have a reference point for that, but one of the imperfect feedbacks I'd suffered had nearly run the length of my spine. I can't imagine. I got close enough to being skewered through and through by the scorpion. I'd kinda like to avoid the tearing in half bit, I agreed, twitching my wings slightly at the thought.
I'll try and prevent that, but watch out. My track record isn't the best.
Blackjack said with a wry smile that didn't match the simmering bubble self-hatred that hid behind that smile. Then she adopted a wistful tone.
You know, I didn't think that I would be able to leave the hoof not after what we went through and where I got school killed.
She admitted. Sorrow and self-loathing paddled around her hooves. Just only a small pile. Not like before.
I guess flying over would be safer than trotting right through in the middle of those ghouls.
She paused.
Though I still hate flying.
I smiled up at her. Well, you don't have your metal wings anymore. We don't need to cross it on hoof when we have an alicorn like Glitter, who's often capable of carrying you and your gear, I said with a grin. Though I can't say I blame you for that bit of fear. She nodded, then lightly poked my side.
How are you doing?
She asked with that right little smirk, half big sister, half best friend, half immature maniac. I frowned slightly, then leaned against her side. I'm okay. I don't really want to go back to Junction City, but I do like that we're moving. If we're going somewhere, even if we are going to, we are gonna need to stop for food at some point, I shrugged. But I feel more alive when I get back on the hoof.
Yeah, even after blowing up, the place is still weird.
She said with a shake of her head.
I don't know if it was the Eater or Nightmare Moon's Shadow World or something else entirely, but there's certain stain on this town. I'm not sure if it'll ever wash out.
She glanced down at me.
So, how bad do you think it's gonna be when the Heartmenders start looking for us?
I bit my lip. That depends on how freaked out Sandalwood is. And possibly Caledonia, considering Glitter is missing too. Missing with us. With us. Oh, damn it, I couldn't talk this morning. So we'll likely start sending our searchers fairly soon after you and I disappear. We know we won't have an easy time of it without our pip bugs. I frowned slightly. Though, Sandalwood may ask them to send some pony to Junction City, in case you show up there.
Or maybe Sandalwood talks to Heartshine, and Heartshine talks to Velvet, and Velvet talks to Little Bib, and Little Bib uses the SVP to spot us in a few minutes, and we'll get hauled back to the hoof, or wherever they try to haul me.
She gave a little smirk, as if anticipating the fight. Then she rubbed her chin.
We're going to need to make a side trip.
My ears drooped as I looked up at her. Blackjack was thinking. Dangerous occupation, that. Blackjack? You look like you're plotting. I know just enough about you to know that your plotting is the equivalent of praying to Discord at Pinkie Pie for miracles and fun.
You have a problem with fun?
She asked with a grin. I had to remind myself that her body was literally made of Discord's something or other.
It's not as hard as getting in airships and sneaking into Thunderhead. Mostly it's just stopping a good friend.
Her smile faded away.
At least I hope we're still good friends. It's been a while.
I frowned thoughtfully. Well, does a good friend have snacks? I mean, Glitter kinda eats a lot. I mean, I can go without.
So relax, we're fine. You're with me and an Alicorn. What could go wrong?
She asked, that even grin still on her face.
I think she jinxed it by asking what could go wrong.
Oh, we'll see about that. Also, it's a rather short chapter as well, so it's good.
Oh yeah, it isn't that long.
I love my tea so much. Okay.
Love force notes.
Relax.
Glitter bomb.
Okay, I'll do it. Ugh. I don't know how to pronounce it. Let's go.
I just noticed you said good morning, Neff, in the 1:30 a.m. for me, and I'm just like, yeah, morning, right?
Morning biscuits.
Yeah, it's like 1:30 a.m. Yeah, morning. Okay, let's go with that. Sure, why not? Call it morning. As somebody said, morning is whenever I wake up.
Oh my god. Okay,
So yeah, Glitter. Blackjack. I still have. I think this card will take Glitter and Blackjack. I have some very special roles for you to come. Don't worry. Ascadian, I have some role reserved for Blackjack. So.
Oh my. I can't wait who the new character will be. Shall I read the glitter?
If you want to, yeah.
Okay. Ugh.
Tribom shouted as she let open a monstrous blast of flatulence.
I think that last can of mystery hay was yucky.
With her wings slightly pressed against her barrel, she couldn't fly us to wherever Blackjack was leading us, which was apparently up a mountain in the middle of nowhere.
My tummy won't stop rumbling. Now I feel all pooty. No ponies better stand. No ponies better stand downwind.
I nearly face-planted as I tried my best to not laugh at my friend's plight. Okay, no more crime for you,
Could be worse.
Blackjack said as she led us up a trail that sneaked back and forth, barely visible for the landslides that obscured its passage. She didn't seem to have much trouble sweating slightly as she meandered her way up.
To be honest, it's way safer than flying. My friends had some bad ruins with the Enclave, and he is really not big for visitors. Not sure if he'd take care of both of you flying about.
The
Like,
Enclave?
I know how it is. I know who it is.
I think it's fairly obvious.
It's really obvious now.
Yeah, like, come on, come on. The Enclave? I asked, looking up a mountain side. Come to think of it, some of the stones further up the trail did look melted. Did a raptor do this? Well, never mind.
The enchilada made your friend sad?
Glitterbomb's tummy gurgled ominously.
Do you think your friend will let me use the little Philly's room? I know how food can make you all sad now.
Not only does he... Oh, blah, 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 go ahead. Sorry.
Not only does he have a little Philly's room, but I know he will, provided he doesn't eat us. I mean, he might. He probably thinks I'm dead.
She said as she moved into some clouds that obscured the upper third of the mountain.
I'm just wondering where all the mines and turrets are. I miss my FS.
Wait, eat us? I asked incredulously. Wait, how the hell is your friend, Blackjack? And turrets? We're not equipped for this, I protested, fluttering up after her.
I'd be the saddest snack cake.
Glitter muttered from behind me. As if in response to my question, a boiler popped open like a clam, exposing a round drum with two Gatling beam casters lighting up. Almost as fast, Blackjack disappeared, popping into place directly behind it. Glitter bomb wrapped both of us in a shield as Blackjack conjured with a blazing sword and swept it cleanly through the body of a turret. 1, 2, 3 swings, and the pillar exploded. Blackjack approached us, her keen red eyes scanning rocks around us.
He probably can't see through all the mist. Come on, we should hurry up before the incinerators the entire mountainside.
She turned and hurried up the trail. I was following a madmare. What in the sorrel health was I thinking? She was insane! I bolted after her, keeping pace with her climbing, as Glitter followed after us, occasionally assisted by the jet propulsion of loud, boisterous farts that were afflicting her. Blackjack sprawled up in full Wasteland Warrior mode. When turret exposed itself, she'd cut it in two, or blasted with magic bullet before I could blink. Moving once, she magically deactivated mines and slipped them into her saddlebag. I have been dusted a dozen times over on my own.
You okay?
She asked as she led the way.
Look down.
I shot her a glare. I look like I've nearly died about 18 different times in the past 10 minutes. How well do you know this stallion? I asked exasperatedly, skipping over rocks and glancing back to make sure Glitter was still following. My poor purple friend was starting to look positively green as she quickly cantered up the hill. Wings continued to press against her abdomen. I'm also worried that Glitter is gonna pop from all that gas.
Yes. So. I'd like to think we're friends. Mostly. Like I said, he probably thinks I'm dead. So, yeah. Hopefully he'll first talk and eat us later.
She paused as we reached the mouth of an immense cave.
Here we go.
She said and trotted inside. The mouth of the cave was gargantuan, yet the idea of being in a little space with millions and billions of tons of rocks overhead. Of course, my alternative was staying out of here with Glitter. Suddenly the air was split by a roar that shook the stones beneath my hoofs and sent rocks clattering down around the mouth of the cave, followed by a shriek from Blackjack and deep infernal booming laughter. Oh, Celestia, I was so fired. I hesitated at the roar. I mean, Blackjack really wanted to die, didn't she? I guess we could just go back to the way we came. One of us two rocks could serve as a bathroom for Glitter. Oh crap, where she went? Glitter bounded through the cave opening.
Hi, Mr. Angry Person. I'm sorry, where is your bathroom? I hope I didn't eat blackjack.
She shouted as she ran in. A shield wrapped around herself. Glitter, get back here! I shouted, following after her. Well, maybe today was a good day to die. I drew a small disintegration pistol and flew after Glitter, looking around at the flame-scarred walls. Sweet Luna, what the hell melted the walls like that? The inside of the cave was just as badly mangled and scarred as the outside. Rocks were shattered and blackened, as if there had been a great battle that had taken place just inside the cave. Bullet holes lined the cavern walls, but I tried to pay them no mind as I raced after my purple friend. Blackjack! I called out, hoping against hope that I wasn't about to be dessert. Did Pegasus count as dessert item? Suddenly the light set in the ceiling turned on, and I found myself face to face with an enormous purple reptile with green spines, and the largest eye patch in the world. He let out a snort, teeth longer than my leg gleaming as he grinned down at me, a rumble deep in his chest signaling my bloody visceral demise. Then he pointed a clawed tiny cave to the left. Blackjack, would you like to read as big purple reptile with green spikes?
Я, да, понял. Bathrooms that way. Seconds on the left.
He said in a voice so deep I could nearly feel it in my bones. His eye focused on me.
Welcome.
I stared up at the dragon, paralyzed by his size. He was so going to eat me. Proud of him to point the bathroom out to Glitter, but he was going to eat me. I felt myself hyperventilating as I locked my eyes with him. Please don't eat me like you did Blackjack. I'm sure she was tasty, but Glitter and I will be on our way as soon as she destroys the toilet.
Thanks.
Glitter shouted, darting into a smaller cave. When poke her head out.
Wait, you're a dragon.
She blurted as her stomach gargled, face queuing up.
Just stay right. Oh, dumb mystery, hey.
She wailed as she disappeared out of sight. The dragon chuckled deep in his chest.
I don't think eating blackjack would be that healthy. I'd probably die of alcohol poisoning. Нормально.
Yeah, that's. I cannot argue with that. You know, it's a fair point.
Жиза, просто жиза.
Yeah. Suddenly, Blackjack appeared on his head.
Hey, I haven't drunk anything in a day. And how did you even know I was alive at all? I was planning on keeping it a surprise.
Blackjack, I'm watcher.
He chuckled,
Huh.
smirking as he looked up at the white unicorn perched on his head like head before regarding me.
You must be Theranosy. I have it on a good authority that you're grounded for 100 years for someone named Sandalwood.
In spite of my fear, the fact that Sandalwood was trying to ground me pissed me off. Grounded? What the hell? She can't do that. She's not my mom. I shouted before realizing just how foolish and ridiculous it probably sounded to the massive dragon. Yes, Trinity,
A pleasure.
he said, holding out a hand to let Blackjack jump down next to me. Wayman's cavern was taken up by his hoard and spectacular mosaics of 6 ponies made out of glittering gemstones. It was of the ministry mares, as they had been at Blackjack's age. Delicate gemstones glimmered from strong lines like tiny stars, refracting the light into 1,000 points of radiance.
As I said, I'm watcher. Or spike, if we're being informal.
He rumbled when his smile faded.
You've got a lot of ponies panicking very quietly, Blackjack.
Well,
Well-
that's an
Okay, go ahead, sorry.
yeah. Well, that's an improvement over panicking loudly, isn't it?
She replied. I giggled despite myself. Well, I do think that is an improvement. And I mean, hey, Hasha probably thinks we're just off to an impromptu in vivo experience, right? Testing your words failed me as I tried to come up with some sort of hard-mandated excuse stuff. And we completely fucked, aren't we? I'm so fired. It's fine. Spike, wake up.
Это разве мое? Blackjack replied with a grin.
Blackjack replied. Oh, fuck.
Mm.
Blackjack, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. You're not fired. You're grounded. That means you still have more to work.
Blackjack replied with a grin before looking up at Spike. It took all of my willpower to not stick my tongue out at her.
That's why we are here, actually. The three of us are just taking a little trip, and we need you to get the Heartmanders to call off the search. I'm fine. Friend's fine. Letter's fine. We're all fine.
You took off your pip-box they gave you to prevent you from doing just what you're doing now.
Spike rumbled.
I never had a pip-back.
Glitter called as she trotted in from the smaller cave. She looked much less stressed and pained.
Also, you are purple, and an eye patch, and make you 200% awesomer.
Blackjack.
Oh, yeah. Look, Spike, the Heartmanders haven't let me take 2 steps without being monitored. Flashing away is the only way I can get myself away from them. And Ren has something she needs to take care of. I want to help her, but we can't do it if we have the whole party of shrinks trotting after us in the wasteland.
Wouldn't that be something?
Spike said as he chuckled.
And we can't go to Jackson City if you're grounded to a corner.
Glitter added helpfully.
You are really purple. Do you have a girlfriend?
Well, I'm not sure if that's a good idea for a number of reasons.
For
It wouldn't fit.
Hold on, I'm actually going to share one of the reasons with you. Few minutes break.
Fuck off.
I think Blackjack already knows what I'm about to post.
Fuck off.
Do you,
Post.
Blackjack?
Fuck off.
I want to see it.
Yeah, there is one very good reason why this is not a good idea.
Shut the
Well,
fuck
as
up.
soon as I will actually find it, which
Shut
take
the
a while.
fuck up.
I want to see it now. Okay, also, the Russian Spike is hilarious.
Yes.
I just picture a Spike in tracksuit and with an Ushanka on his head. and
Shut the fuck up.
I love Russian people. They are so amusing.
Индизи.
Кто-нибудь убейте его, пожалуйста. Ладно, продолжим, может, а?
Нет, я ищу, подожди, пока я не найду. Из нас всех я, наверное, тороплюсь больше, чем кто-либо другой, поэтому, пожалуйста, имей пару терпения. Прошу тебя. Пока расслабься, откинься на спинку стула и получай удовольствие.
Я вообще не знаю, кстати, о чем речь, поэтому я просто говорю shut the fuck up. Это удобно. Это универсальный ответ.
Okay, hold on. It's probably somewhere around here.
And we can't go to Jumble City.
Okay, yeah, hold on. It's in random bullshit chat. This is why this probably not that good of a reason.
Это то, из-за чего... Какого хрена?
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's... You can see why that might be a problem here.
That is not healthy.
Так, тихо.
Yeah.
What do you think, Blackjack? Is that healthy?
Okay.
Report, блядь.
Okay, let's continue. She asked shyly.
Just one thing. I'm sorry. I'm coming to Budapest.
When?
In August.
Oh.
And I skin you alive.
When in August?
I know, but I'll skin you alive.
Why?
I'll
What
find
if
a
I
reason.
skin you?
No.
What if I skin you?
No.
I'll skin you
I'll skin you.
harder.
I'll skin you.
I don't know. Okay. I will gay you. I will fucking suck your penis. I'll do gay shit to you. How dare you?
Fuck what? Shall we continue?
Да.
Да.
Кто способен тебя отвечать? So,
I think Blackjack is having a great time.
I mean,
I'm sorry. Let's continue.
You are sorry, because I am sorry.
Чёртовы гомосеки.
я вас сейчас всех замучу нафиг. Okay, so let's
Будешь читать сам.
Ты правда думаешь, что это будет проблемой? She asked shyly, hiding behind her flowing purple mane as she scuffed at a fork on the ground. I frowned at glitter and shook my head. I think us getting away for a bit would be good, for Blackjack and for me. Plus, I mean, I'm here to kind of keep a tight leash on her. Right, Blackjack?
Oh, sure. Very tight.
Blackjack said with a grin. I suddenly had the impression of a great big dog dragging a little filly behind it. Then her smile faded.
Anyway, I need to talk to her.
I cocked my head to the side. Who's her? I asked, curious. Anything that Blackjack wouldn't make a quip about being jealous. Spike's smile disappeared.
That's not something I can do, Blackjack.
Actually,
Blackjack retorted.
that is something only you can do. And since I've read a book, I know you can do it.
She peered out towards the cave entrance.
You know, I get that she's honesty, but you'd think that she'd have kept a few details of herself.
She pointed a hoof at him.
I need to talk to her. She's got eyes, and I know she'd want to help. And she can keep everyone off our trail, but send cavalry if we run into trouble.
Who in Equus was she talking about?
Little bit.
Who are you talking about? I asked again. The bear just gave me a look like big ponies talking, and then looked back at each other.
I'll be quick. If she wants me to drop this, I'll drop it. But I think
She paused and took a deep breath.
I think she'll understand.
Ribbon fluttered up to Spike's eye level.
Please, Mr. Purple, Blackjack wouldn't have tried to go up your mountain and doom boom and glittery death if she didn't think it was kind of important.
She tried to give him a coy grin, which I doubted would work on the dragon, but make her look more adorable.
And I think your eye patch is very flattering.
The big dragon looked nonplussed by the compliment, and pursed his lips a moment.
Let me contact her and make sure she's up to it.
Glitter squeaked happily and hugged Spike's nose.
Thank you. I knew you were awesome.
She shrieked with delight. He smiled and even blushed a little as he shifted over to the terminal. Blackjack had gone cool though. She was staring at the mosaic, her eyes locked on the unicorn made of amethyst in the center. I trotted over to Blackjack's side and looked up at the unicorn. What's up? I asked, looking at the image of Violet Sparkle, the Ministry Mayor of Magic.
Just thinking about things.
She said as she gazed up.
Big horseshoes to fill.
I nodded in agreement with her, my eyes settling on the topaz mare with a mane of pink quartz. Any of which horseshoes would be big to fill, I added softly. Spike turned back to us, his face composed.
You know how you have to get there. It's going to hurt.
That's okay.
Blackjack answered.
I'm used to being hurt.
She even glanced at me.
You want to come with I? What you want to come with? I shouldn't be very long.
Go where? I asked, suddenly apprehensive. I mean, yes, I'll go with you, Blackjack. I said, hoping that I didn't make a horrible mistake. Blackjack looked up at Glitter Bomb.
Hey, Glitter. You mind keeping the nice, handsome dragon company?
Glitter saluted Blackjack.
I would love to keep Mr. Spike company. he and I can talk about snacks and pretty jewels and being purple. Oh, and he can tell me how brave and awesome he is, right, Mr. Spike?
She asked, grinning at the dragon. Spike waved a clawed hand.
Oh, shucks, Glitterbomb. I don't know about brave and awesome, but I can tell you about some of the cool things I did with the Ministry Mayors before the war.
I wonder if I didn't detect a hint of a dragon that Spike used to be from back then. Back when the world was probably a much simpler place, and he had his friends to keep him company. Blackjack took my shoulders and turned me back to Spike.
On 3.
Wait. What was
Это,
it?
подожди, это разве не мои слова?
Нет, это слова автора.
Понял. Не, окей. Окей.
Okay. Go ahead, Blackjack.
1,
Blackjack stated, staring into my eyes.
2,
My heart thudded in my chest. What was free? Why didn't she say what free was? Spike inhaled deeply.
3?
I've made a terrible... And when I died, consumed by a dragon fire. Well, the end, guys. That's it. That's the fanfic. So what's your thoughts on it?
that was just awesome. I'm dead. No, I'm not dead. I hurt too much to be dead.
Yeah.
Я надеюсь, у меня хотя бы голос как-то немножко был
Хорошо.
грубым.
Да, Блэкджек, я хочу, чтобы ты взял на себя еще пару ролей в следующей сцене, поэтому давай.
Ну, если слушаешь, там есть карантинские роли, можешь меня попросить, мне все равно что сделать.
О, хорошо, я дам
Только
тебе роль.
коротенькие, ладно.
Коротенькую, там, не беспокойся, она небольшая.
Ну что, кто у нас Аббат будет Литл Пеппой?
Нет, ты будешь. Ты будешь
Я
Литл.
буду? Ну,
Если помнишь, там есть еще один персонаж, который...
ну да. Ну, это должен взрослый человек читать.
Вот, да.
Мудрый.
Аббат у нас самый мудрый среди нас, поэтому как раз.
Аббат, ты сможешь сделать еще более мудрый голос?
Так, все, Блэкджек.
Что более ему? Да я не знаю, как объяснить надо персонажа сначала. Что...
Ну, как мамаша.
Погоди, чувак. Слушай так, Аббат, ты знаешь этого персонажа. Ладно.
Мгм.
I'm dead. I'm dead. No, not dead. It hurt too much to be dead. Except I didn't hurt at all. Exactly. I'd been hurt. Horribly ripped down to my atoms and whisked away on dragon magic. They didn't stop me shaking from a sensation that I just gotten to know a balefire phoenix on a level most religious frowned upon prior to matrimony. But it was not something I wanted to go through twice. We were in a chamber that seemed to be in high spring. The sky seemed to shimmer through some sort of technology, mimicking the clear sky. Pink petals clung to trees, and the air had a delicate scent to it.
Ow.
Blackjack hissed before me, gritting her teeth in a moment.
That was an 8.
Lifted up my left forehoof and turned it over. An 8? I asked, giggling and shaking myself, trying to get the horrible sensation of having been disintegrated and reintegrated out of my system. If unicorn teleportation felt like being pulled through a small hole in the universe, dragonfire felt like someone set you on fire, burned you to ashes, and magically made the ashes a whole pony again. Why didn't you warn me about that? I squeaked at her, my voice cracking.
Because then you would have whined and complained before coming along anyway.
She said as she sniffed her leg.
Ugh, I smell like dragon breath now.
She said as she rose to her hooves.
So, here's where she's staying. Nice for prison, I guess.
Abbat.
I'll take her. I'll take her.
Yeah, no. Abbat. I will give it to Abbat, yes. Abbat, go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes. You nailed
Are
it.
you sure?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Great, just great.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
It's just perfect. It's better than perfect.
Yes.
Go on.
Princess Molestia.
Yeah.
Блядь.
He's pretty much nailed it. Okay. Let's continue.
Nailed it like he nailed Putin's car.
Fair enough. Okay. Shush. Him and came a melodious voice that seemed to drive away the horrors of our trip here. On the wall appeared a unicorn, with a crown and a gently flowing mane.
I do try, and we work on that. I prefer to think of this as sanctuary, like your star house, Blackjack.
I swear my jaw hit the floor. That... she... that... wait... how? Blackjack's hoof reached over and gently pushed my lower jaw up, with a click on my teeth. Princess Celestia? I stared at the image on the wall. How?
You really need to read more.
No, it's Blackjack.
You really need to read more.
Blackjack replied as she trotted to the screen.
How is she?
Tired,
Celestia replied.
but eager to see you again. A friend back from the dead is always treasured.
The pony princess in the machine replied. My mind was still trying to process how in the world the sun goddess was talking to us. And the Blackjack kept saying I needed to read more. I read a lot.
I'm not sure I count as a friend.
Blackjack replied, dropping her eyes.
You count.
The princess answered, her voice soft and soothing. It was strange. Even though she was in... something like a machine, I could feel her kindness from here. When the door hissed open. The passage beyond was the pinnacle of arcane science. As we walked, Celestia appeared to walk with us, passing from monitor to monitor, as if the princess was just on the other side of the wall. It's... okay, go ahead.
It's been weeks since she last had a visitor. Every pony is busy trying to find the last elements. I'm sure she's eager for your visit.
Who is she? I asked softly. I hadn't been able to take my eyes off of the princess. Even on the monitor, she looked just as majestic and regal as she had in my picture books from when I was a filly. Her glorious multicolored mane flowed softly on the screen, and she positively exuded this maternal grace. It made me realize just how drab I was in comparison. In reply, the door before us opened, and we stepped into a theater, or perhaps planetarium was a closer analogy. From a crystal in the center of a domed chamber shone dozens, perhaps hundreds of projections that ranged from ones as small as my hoof to others as large as a stallion. A couch encircled the crystal projector, and a lone occupant croaked. Blackjack.
Tower 92. No.
She broke into a fit of coughing.
90. Ну, типа... Luna's frosted milkshakes.
Little Peep,
Celestia cheated gently from the speakers.
you have company.
I froze at the name and recognition from my foal who trashed back. Little Peep. The man who could do anything. The man who showed up and made Junction R7 into Junction Town. The first mayor I'd seen with a peep bug. Here I was, standing in front of a living legend, and all I could think of was how utterly tired she felt, both physically and emotionally, and how she really could use something warm to drink. Do you need some lemongrass tea for that cold? I asked quietly. The tiny grey mare frowned as Blackjack collapsed laughing, holding her barrel as she guffawned.
Really?
The mare sniffed, her voice thick before she answered me primly. Blackjack. Not Blackjack in the story, the actual Blackjack here.
Разве, типа, по абзацам...
Да, по
Ага.
абзацам это ты.
Окей, то есть это я должен был говорить really?
Да.
I can take it if you want.
Really? No, I should be fine for now.
Her voice thick before she answered primly.
Thank you for the offer, though. I'm sure Homage will bring some on her next visit. Anything to fight this terrorist butt fucking cold.
You're the Lightbringer. I offered her a smile and reached over to slap Blackjack with a wink. Why did you tell me we were meeting the princess? And the freaking Lightbringer! I snapped, biting her with my wink repeatedly. Bad pony! Bad! Blackjack continued to roll around on the ground laughing, all while Little Peep looked on, utterly bemused.
How old are you?
No, so wait. Little Peep. Don't.
Разве? А, ну окей.
Да, да,
How
да.
old are you? 4?
Wait,
Ну,
стоп, стоп.
по-моему, это
А,
ты.
Да, по-моему, это я. Господи, меня уже глючит, извиняюсь. Sorry. How old are you? 4? You're like 4. I swear, I'm your babysitter. You dummy Max stupid face. Why did you drag me through Dragonfire without telling me just who we're going to meet? I swear to Luna. I paused my winged assault on Blackjack when let my ears wheeled, and I gave the princess an apologetic look. Oh, I mean, fuck.
That's quite alright, Threnody. I've heard far worse.
Celestia said primely, making little Pip flash.
What was the charming epithet that you said last week about my buxom flanks, little Pip?
Yeah, little Pip can. She can. While there was some annoyance from the Lightbringer, it made her thin. Nostalgia surged like waves at high tide from a small grey mare, longing for friends that were now out and doing things on their own. The cold pit of loneliness in Little Pip's heart was rock solid, but also well designed.
So, how can I help you, Blackjack?
She asked coolly as Blackjack wiped her tears away.
While I love the visits, I really need to keep an eye out. Homage and the others are in a dead zone and I'm waiting for them to reappear.
I looked over the petite mare as she spoke to my friend, and felt a small stab of annoyance. She was taller than me. Maybe it was just the horn, but I swore she was taller than me. Logic said she needed to talk to you about, well, kinda, um, I scratched the back of my neck. Hiding us? So we don't get grounded? Way to go, Frenedy. Way to sound like you're trying to rope your aunt out into your shenanigans as a filly. Goodness, Blackjack's influence was infecting my brain. I could feel my mental age plummeting just by mere proximity to her. Blackjack stopped laughing and sat up.
Certainly has something he needs to take care of. I'm going to help her, and I also know that all the other heart members are going to be looking for us. I'd like you not to tell them where we are, unless we're beset on all sides by raiders and they're trying to eat our brains.
You came all the way here to ask me about that?
Little Pip asked as if she couldn't believe it.
Yeah,
Blackjack replied.
and to see you again.
There was something about how she said that. Some unsaid acknowledgement that passed from one man to the other. It wasn't intimate. It wasn't anything I'd ever felt before. Celestia shared it. An odd feeling. An old feeling. I suddenly felt very young. I stood silently as I waited for them to speak. When they didn't, I looked at the princess. I really want to help Blackjack, I said quietly, and getting her away from the hoof seemed like a good idea. She just also wants to help me, I guess? I explained, looking back and forth between Celestia and Little Pip. I don't really want to cause either of you any trouble, and I'm sorry she didn't tell us who we were going to meet. It's an honor to meet both of you, I said, giving what I hoped was a respectful courtesy. Somehow the two mayors disapproved faintly.
Don't worry about it.
Little Pip said, waving a copy of a pip bag embedded in it. Then she smirked at Blackjack.
Apparently, she took months to figure out I was the stable dweller.
Hey, you're not 6 feet tall, flying in power arc and shooting lightning from your horn. If you were, I didn't have. I'd have it a lot sooner.
Blackjack said before she glanced at me.
She got hurt, little Pip. By someone in Junction City. We need to be there. We are going there to make it right.
Celestia looked at me with an expression of concern.
It isn't that I don't think that wrongs need to be righted, but what is to say that this won't end up like the time before, Blackjack?
She asked, her voice soothing and even, but a pang of regret rang true, like an augmented fourth chord.
I know you are trying to make changes, but that it, but that я потерялся, окей.
That
But
But what?
what is to say that you won't go off and kill the pony responsibly for the Threnady's injuries?
Because I won't let her, I said quietly, causing all three males to look at me. I don't want any pony to get hurt.
Oh,
She replied with a tiny smile before she looked at Little Pip.
If you just give me a name, I can have God take care of this. You don't need to involve yourself at all.
Little Pip said with a frown. But
I could, but this is more for me, more for Thran than yeah. This is more for Thran to do. I'm just with her for the ride.
Blackjack said quietly. I don't think that God knowing her name would help, I added. She's very politically powerful, and even Guardiana Greenfeather's influence would be kinda small. Politically, the power kinda lies in the big cities. I bit my lip as I thought about it. I don't really know, honestly. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew that I couldn't let the mayor keep hurting ponies. While I didn't agree with Blackjack's idea of me confronting her personally, I did know that no pony else should have to feel the way I did. And it made my stomach hurt to think that there were others. Many others that she'd already made feel that way before. The NCR is kinda new and kinda trying to get a feeling for its hooves. I don't know how well it could handle an upset this big, which is why I didn't want to talk to Sandalwood and Slate about it. I admitted to the three mayors. Blackshot thought it over and put a hoof around my shoulder. I didn't flinch. Well, Escalion, wake up, please.
Yeah. Uh, and I'm here to keep her safe. Like security is supposed to do. No murders, no mayhem, just keeping a young pony safe.
By dragging her across the Discord fucked wasteland?
Little Pip that pant, then shook her head. She and Blackjack shared that same old mare look.
Alright, Blackjack, I'll help. This better not get me in trouble with homage.
For the first time, the Lightbringer gave a small smile.
That's all I asked for, but thanks, babe.
Blackjack replied, giving Celestia a cocky wave.
Princess, it's been wild, but we'd better get going.
She said, turning to head back down the hallway. I sat behind a moment, then tucked myself back before trotting up to Little Pip. I know how much may bring you some tea, but I think this is the least I can do for helping us out. I explained, setting down a small box of peppermint tea that I'd found in the soda shop we'd split in the night before. And I hope you feel better soon. Little Pip cocked her head to the side a moment, then gave me a soft smile.
Thank you.
She said with a sniffle.
You know, I've been watching you. I kinda figured you'd leave something behind. You headmenders really are something.
Blybinger shook her head, then returned to her couch. I took it as my leave and trotted after Blackjack. I nearly made it to where Blackjack was waiting before I stopped and looked up at the digital princess, who'd been quietly escorting me out of Little Pip's command. I couldn't put a name to the emotions I was feeling from the avatar of the princess, because they were deep, complex, and impossibly old. Princess? I asked quietly, looking up at the monitor. First, he offered me a sad smile, one that was heavily tainted by the feeling of old, gentle regret that radiated softly from her screen. My hoof somehow found its way to the screen itself before she spoke. I
I
I'm so
just
sorry.
can't help but be amused by how much you remind me of her, Threnody.
She shifted her glimmering mane that no longer had physical form. Who, princess? I asked, given that there were countless ponies in the Aligon lifetime I could be very reminiscent of.
Winter Willow, one of the first official Heartmenders, though they were called Heart Healers in that day. She and her friends brought Equestria through a dark period in our history, but she was always sad and always seemed to hold on to something. It was until a few years later I'd learned that what she'd taken from me on the night that my sister became Nightmare Moon. It took all of her friends to get her to let it go.
She cocked her head to the side.
I can't help but wonder if you'll be able to do the same at the end of your journey with the help of your friends.
I swallowed. I I don't know, I admitted truthfully. I know I need to. Blackjack won't let me leave Jackson City till I do. I lean my forehead against the monitor. Princess, I don't know if I'm strong enough to do this. The star mark on my forehead suddenly felt a bit warmer, as the princess' love flowed over me.
Nobody does, my little pony, but with the help of your friends, I believe you can.
I lifted my head to give her a smile.
If you find that you can't believe in your own strength, then believe in the strength of your friends. They can carry you when your road becomes too rough for your hoofs.
I don't know if I have the right to ask them that, princess, I said, looking down at my hoofs and the grated metal floor.
I knew, back then, that I didn't have the right to ask that from my friends either.
Celestia replied, sorrow and regret rushing over me in such a torrent that I physically staggered.
I should have when things were hurting the most. Maybe all of this wouldn't have happened.
She offered me a sad smile.
I made my choice, however. You have to make yours.
I spread out my wings and shook myself, trying to get rid of the cloying damp of regret and sorrow. I placed both of my hoofs against the monitor, pressing my forehead against it once again. I will try, princess. I promise to try. To my surprise, her hoofs pressed back lightly against mine, and she pressed her forehead against her side of the screen.
That's all I ask.
The flow of care and concern from her was enough to get me to step away.
Oh, and before Blackjack asks, I'm fine, or rather I will be. Having little Peep here for company is much more helpful than being alone.
And with that, she disappeared, the pen returning to the pretty green field on the display. I shook my head and trotted back to Blackjack. Now, how do we get out of here? Turns out getting back into Watcher's Cave was easier than going in. The princess was able to activate a magical portal that sent us to Spike's home. Blackjack and I arrived to find Spike and Glitter deep in conversation about the roles of heroes in something called Ogres and Oblates.
Wait. Asterix. So no ponies
No,
here?
no. We almost finished with chapter, so I figured out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I wanted to do one, but when I just it's almost done. So
Okay.
the prince was able to ogres and oubliettes. Glitter gasped as we trotted out of the portal.
Oh, good. You two aren't dead.
I told you, my dragonfire just moves things like a teleporter.
Watcher said as he looked down at us.
Did you get what you wanted, Blackjack?
She gave him a small smile.
Oh, yeah.
I frowned at the back of Blackjack's head. Then why bring me along? And be honest, Blackjack. I'll know if you're lying. Blackjack scratched up her muzzle as she turned back to me.
Because you need to experience riding on Dragonfire?
She offered rather unhelpfully.
Maybe I thought you might like being inside of the SPP. Meet Princess Celestia and the Lightbringer?
I lay my ears back, flat against my skull, and gave her a net look. Blackjack, I'm asking seriously. Because at the moment, the only thing I can think of is that you did this entire detour to the Single Pegasus project in order for me to get eyes on Little Pip and the Princess.
I did want to get your eyes on the Little Pip and the Princess.
Blackjack admitted quietly.
I wanted to know how they were doing.
Care, compassion, and genuine embarrassment lightly drifted out from her as she looked down at her hoofs. When she took a deep breath, feigning a carefree smile.
I also needed to make sure that Heartshine didn't talk to Wellbeth. Well, it didn't talk to Little Pip to find us. I don't want to be whisked back to Star House just yet.
She turned her back on me, silent for a moment.
I hope Little Pip's alright. And Celestia. It's not easy living like that.
We're managing, Blackjack, I said softly, trotting over to her side as Glitterbomb flew over to us. Little Pip is very lonely, and she wishes she could leave. Celestia is full of sorrow and regret, but honestly, she's like thousands of years old. I doubt that you'd live that long without having a lot of regrets. But she's very happy that Little Pip is there with her. I frowned at the white unicorn mare. Why couldn't you just ask me that in the first place? She rumbled. Spike rumbled in his opinion from overhead.
Probably because I would have told her to respect Little Pip's privacy.
He said, peering down at us three mayors.
Because it sounds like that really was a question you could have asked with my monitors.
It's not the same, Spike.
She said as she glanced up at him.
It's not the same. You know that better than anyone else. It's not the same.
She said with a snotty sniff.
You try to touch someone through a screen. It's not the same.
Blackjack grit her teeth, fighting and failing with tears on her cheeks, causing Glitter to wrap a wing around her back.
I know barely a friend, but shouldn't I at least try to check up on Pip? She's trapped in there all day after day, living life through screens, watching Spike. And sure, she can ram a tornado up at a raider's ass, but she won't be. It's not the same as being there with your friends.
I frowned thoughtfully a moment. I hadn't considered that. Well, presumably Celestia would have alerted us to her state. I said, trying to think things through. Or Watcher would have called her mage, right? I asked, looking up at the dragon. Spike nodded, and crossed his massive forearms.
Little Pip may be up there alone, but you and I both know why. Your immune system is shot. Your body is extremely frail, and realistically, she is the best mare for the job of managing the weather. Even if the Pegasi have been given that job back in the New Lunar Commonwealth.
He muttered. Glitter nosed at the back of Blackjack's head. Glitter.
More like he gave.
What?
Glitter? What?
Oh,
What
yeah,
epiphany?
no, I'm shut. I can't. Where are we? Okay, I found it.
Glitter nosed.
Yeah, I got it.
Mhm.
What I think Mr. Spike and Trinity are trying to say is that you need to tell the truth and say less lies. You're bad at lying, Blackjack. Like, bad like mystery, hey.
Blackjack chuckled softly at Glitter's remark.
Oh, is that how it is? So bad lies give everyone gas?
Spike.
More like you give everyone panic attacks when you tell the truth.
Spike deadpanned and shook his head.
In any case, Little Pip and I will watch over your journey as you three head toward the Junction City. The way should be relatively clear, and I think Pip is planning on keeping the weather nice for you. But we'll send help if you get into trouble.
He said, pointing a claw down at Blackjack and I.
No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
And I'll accept any punishment we get from the adults when I get back, I replied. Just make sure we don't die, please. Caledonia would be very upset if I got Glitter killed.
I would be very upset if I got me unveiled.
Unalived.
Wait. No.
That's a
Unalived.
glitterism. It's a glitterism. Unalived.
Unalived.
Unalived. Okay, never mind. Glitter added.
Being unalive would be the worst thing.
Gotcha.
Unalived.
Blackjack asked, skewing an ear back as she looked up at the glitter bomb.
I don't think I know that one. Kelly says that killing is kind of bad, so sometimes fools help other ponies stalking, and being killed is so sad and final because ponies die when they are killed. So we just say that we are unalived. She said it sounds better.
Blackjack just looked at her, her smile fading, with hot anger hissing from cracks forming in her shell.
Dead is dead, no matter how you say it.
She replied. Glitter balked as if Blackjack had just struck her. White Mervyn lowered her gaze.
Sorry. It's what Kelly said.
She finished weakly. I wasn't 100% sure if I followed Glitter's logic there, but if it made her feel better, I wasn't going to question it. There were many things about Glitter that I opted to just not question, like why she decided that me of all ponies were fit to be her best friend.
Yeah,
Blackjack said with a small nervous smile.
don't worry about it.
Alright, well, then let's get going. The washer? I asked looking up at Spike. Could you possibly turn off the turret so we don't get vaporized on the way down? Now the Glitter can fly without worrying about,
Carpet bombing the mines inside with horse apples.
Blackjack asked. Oh, this is going to be a long trip. Quest perk. Following the hoofbeats of giants. It's hard to live up to the ideals of the great ponies of history, but somehow you're managing to do it. +1 to any special stat of your choice. +1 charisma for Threnody.